Do you think you're better off alone? Do you think you're better off alone? Hi, everybody. Do you think you're better off alone? Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Hi, how are you? Start a poll. Have you liked and subscribed yet? Yes or no? I'm on the Epstein list. Hello, everybody. How are you? How are you? How are we? Let's get Trump Truth Social. Thank you for the $2. Nancy Mace is running for governor of South Carolina. That's not good. That's not good at all. Medvedev Twitter. So the Russians tweeted out that they have blackmail on Trump. Thank you for the $10. Let's go! Now, this shouldn't be news to anybody. We already knew this. Yeah, we already knew this. Russians blackmail on Trump. Of course they do. Oh, yeah. No, it's bad. Russians say Israel isn't the only people with videos of Trump's immorality. Trump wants a Nobel Peace Prize. He said that a million times, bro. He said that a million times. Oh. So where is this info? Kyle was covering it earlier. Told you they had the Lolita tapes. Of course they fucking do. Of course they do. But Kyle was covering this. Let me see if I could pull it up. Secular talk.
All right, guys. So the other day,
About halfway through.
Don't know is his past immoralities is only this. So I got to give you this news. So Dmitry Medvedev sees this, and he comes out and issues the following statement. He says, Trump shouldn't think that the video archive of his past immoralities is only in Mossad's hands. Bruh. Bruh. That's him saying?
Where did Medvedev say this? Anybody know? How you doing, Nelson? Is this real? What is this, on some Israeli fucking website? It's a nice polo. What brand is that? I don't fucking know. I did see the Spider-Man suit. I'm very happy about that. I'm happy they're going back to the original one. Let's see how the Fat Führer answers questions today.
Okay, thank you very much. We had a very good weekend in many respects. We're seeing phenomenal numbers in terms of the business we do with other countries.
That's not true at all. We're seeing terrible fucking numbers.
And the business we do within our own country. I mean, really.
Yeah, I do think he's panicking. I think he's starting to see the end of the road here. I don't believe Donald Trump will be the president at the end of 2025. By one way or another, I do not believe he will be the president.
Phenomenal numbers. We'll be announcing a new statistician sometime over the next 3-4 days. We had no confidence. I mean, the numbers were ridiculous, what she announced. But that was just one negative number. All of the numbers seem to be great. And so we'll see how that comes out. And if you remember...
Trump is the epitome of that dog meme in the burning house. This one. This is Trump right now. This is unironically how Trump is reacting to, like, all of the chaos and carnage. This is how Trump is reacting. The whole nation is burning. Our economy is burning down. The stock market is burning down. Trust in the government is burning down. The jobs numbers are burning down. And the fat orange fucking dog man is going, yeah, this is fine. Yeah, this is fine.
Just before the election, this woman came out with these phenomenal numbers on Biden's economy. Phenomenal numbers.
This has got to be the worst time to try and be sober. I disagree, Diablo, because if you're capable of being sober during this, then when times get easy, you're going to be like, of course I can be sober. Dude, I was sober during the Trump regime. You think this is hard? You'll be in the trenches of World War III going, nah, this ain't diddly shit, bro. I was sober during the Trump regime.
And then right after the election, they announced that those numbers were wrong. And that's what they did the other day. So it's a scam, in my opinion. My opinion is it's just additional scam.
Yeah, my opinion. Yeah, I want to point something out. It's an old video of Trump. Just so you understand that, like, Trump's presidency is a result of him embarrassing himself. Trump, I don't look Indian to me. Trump has always been a piece of shit that nobody took seriously, and since he always and constantly has gotten laughed out of the room, he decided that the best and only way for him to get power would be to become the fucking president of the United States. But please, take a note of what Trump was like in the fucking 80s.
Is this you discussing Indian blood? We're going to judge people by whether they have Indian blood, whether they're qualified to run a gaming casino or not?
That probably is me, absolutely. Because I'll tell you what, if you look at some of the reservations that you've approved, you, sir, in your great wisdom have approved, I will tell you right now, they don't look like Indians to me. And they don't look like the Indians. Now, maybe we say politically correct or not politically correct. They don't look like Indians to me, and they don't look like Indians to Indians. And a lot of people are laughing at it, and you're telling how tough it is, how rough it is to get approved. Well, you go up to Connecticut, and you look. Now, they don't look like Indians to me, sir.
Thank God that's not the test of whether or not people have rights in this country or not, whether or not they pass your look test.
Depends whether, yeah.
It is now. I want to take that sentence back again.
Thank God that's not the test of whether or not people have rights in this country or not, whether or not they pass your look test.
Depends.
It is now. This is the man in charge of the strongest nation in human history.
Whether, yeah, depends whether or not you're approving it, sir.
No, it's not a question whether I'm approving it. It's not a question whether I'm approving it. Mr. Trump, you know in the history of this country where we've heard this discussion before, they don't look Jewish to me.
Oh, really?
They don't look Indian to me. They don't look Italian to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a test for whether people could go into business or not go into business, whether they could get a bank loan. You're too black? You're not black enough?
Oh, Jesus, Donald.
Mr. President, can you say, have those nuclear submarines been deployed yet to face Russia?
I've already put out a statement, and the answer is they are in the region, yeah, where they have to be.
Can you say what Steve Witkoff's message will be to the Russians? Is there anything they can do to avoid sanctions at this point?
Yeah, get a deal where people stop getting killed. They had a number that just came out that a tremendous number of Russian soldiers are being killed. And likewise, Ukraine, a lower number, but still thousands and thousands of people. And now we're adding towns where they're being hit by missiles. So it's a lot of people being killed in that ridiculous war. And, you know, we stopped a lot of countries from war, India and Pakistan.
And now he's going to list off all of the wars that he's not responsible for ending, but he's going to claim credit for so that he can get the Nobel Peace Prize.
Stopped a lot of countries. And we're going to get that one stopped, too. Somehow we're going to get that one stopped. That's a really horrible war. You heard about Cambodia and Thailand. We got that one done. We got the Congo, which was going on for 31
Told you,
years.
he's going to list them all.
Rwanda, that one's done. We stopped a lot of wars. This is the one we seem to be, this should be the easiest to stop, and it's not. I mean, Rwanda and Congo were going on 31 years and I got it stopped. 8 million people dead, at least. That's what they have, but I think the number's much higher. And the leaders of each country, Rwanda and the Congo, they were great. They were great, and they wanted it stopped. 31 years it went on. We stopped a lot of wars. Serbia, Kosovo was going to be happening, and I don't believe it will now, so we stopped that one too. Yes.
You said you had more of an update to give us on Gaza, on the Gaza Strip. Can you give us any?
Only we want the people fed. And we're the only country that's really doing that. We're putting up money to get the people fed. And Steve Witkoff is doing a great job. And we want Israel to get them fed. We're giving some pretty big contributions, basically to purchase food so the people can be fed. We don't want people going hungry, and we don't want people to starve. And there's some bad things happening.
Donald?
They see evidence of a genocide in Gaza?
There you go.
I don't think it's sad. Look, they're in a war.
So this is important. I want to talk about this for a second. Listen to what he just said.
I don't think it's sad. Look, they're in a war.
The reason why Donald Trump or a lot of our elected representatives cannot call this a genocide is because if they call it a genocide, it means everything we have done in support of Israel is illegal under international law. And it would make Donald Trump complicit in a genocide knowingly, right? Arming Israel while they were fighting Hamas in the early stages of the war was something that is legally acceptable, right? Morally, no, but it's legally acceptable. Now that the fighting is pretty much subsided and Hamas is pretty much destroyed and Israel is simply slaughtering the civilians, if we refuse to give aid, if America refuses to give aid to the civilians, we continue to arm Israel, and we legally classify what is going on to the Gazans as a genocide, that makes the United States complicit in genocide, which is a violation of the Geneva Conventions. It is illegal under international law, and it could lead to worldwide sanctioning of the United States of America. This isn't about what is right or what is wrong. This is about the government trying to prevent the United States from being considered complicit in genocide, which we are. We are extremely complicit in genocide. We're not only complicit, we are participating in genocide. But they don't want that to go down as legally on the books. You know what I'm saying?
There, some horrible things happened on October 7th, as you know. It was a horrible, horrible thing. One of the worst.
Yeah. I can't believe Israel allowed all of the murder and rape of their own people to happen on October 7th. Let's be for real about something. Israel is the size of New Jersey. Let me say that again. Israel is the size of New Jersey, and you expect me to believe that Hamas had 6 hours of free reign to do anything they fucking wanted, and Israel couldn't send what? One attack helicopter? One jet? One squad of special forces for 6 hours? No. This is the Hannibal Directive. The Israelis slaughtered their own people on October 7th. The Israelis bombed their own people. The Israelis sacrificed their own people, allowed their own young women to be raped by Hamas for the sole purpose of finally having a 9/11 of their own to hold up. Never forget, let's go kill them all, never forget. Israel allowed October 7th. We're talking about a nation that was capable of sending missiles across multiple countries into Iran. A nation the size of New Jersey with the best military on earth couldn't even get involved for 6 hours on October 7th. Bull fucking shit. Bullshit.
I've ever seen. I've seen a lot of bad things in some president in terms of wars and potential wars. I mean, if you look at the one that we just stopped, they had thousands of people being dead already at the border between Thailand and Cambodia. Thousands of people. And I mean, I've seen some bad things, but that October 7th was with Hamas was really, really bad.
Mr. President, can you give us an update on Steve Witkoff in Russia, and what happens on Friday if the deadline comes and Russia has not agreed to a ceasefire?
Well, there'll be sanctions, but they seem to be pretty good at avoiding sanctions. You know, they're wily characters, and they're pretty good at avoiding sanctions, so we'll see what happens. But Steve is focused right now on the border in terms of, we're talking about with Gaza, getting people fed. And he may be going, I think next week, Wednesday or Thursday, may be going to Russia. They would like to see him. They've asked that he meet, so we'll see what happens.
Mr. President, what advice do you have for Republicans on Capitol Hill heading into midterms? What do they need to do? What can they do to, you know, hold?
Well, one of the things they're going to be...
Hot Wheels says, how are they going to change a state's seats? By gerrymandering. They're going to redraw the districts so that districts that have primarily Republican voters are going to be this new district so that they can get their own Republican votes. They are just going to create more Republican districts so that there are more Republican representatives. I'm assuming you're talking about Texas. This has been done multiple times throughout history, but it has never been done like right before a midterm election. It just making it a incredibly blatant attempt at rigging an election.
Talking about pretty soon are the tremendous drop in drug prices. You know, we've cut drug prices by 1,200, 1,300, 1,400, 1,500%.
Isn't that against the
I don't
law?
mean 50.
No. The United States is intentionally the most corrupt form of democracy on planet Earth, by far. You don't get to choose anything other than this guy or this guy. That's the only thing you get to choose. You don't get to choose fucking anything. You're an American. You do not have freedom. It is an illusion.
I mean 1,400, 1,500%. Because we're going favored nations. We want the same price as Europe gets. We want the same price as other country gets. And over the years, 25, 30 years ago, it started where they were charging us much more. And I put an end to it, you know, with a letter that you saw last week. So I think that's going to be a point. I don't know how anybody could win an election if they're on the other side of that issue. So we'll be
Red or blue, both the same thing? Incorrect. The red, like the Republicans, actually want to kill you. The Republican Party wants to round up all of the gays, all of the blacks, all of the Latinos, all of the Jews, all of the Arabs, all of the Muslims, and kill you all. The blue, the Democrats, they don't want anything to change. They think that what we're at right now is good. Just keep it the way it is because they're getting rich off of the status quo. That is the difference. There is a stark difference between the people who actually want to round you up and kill you and the people who don't want anything to change.
Drug prices, it'll start over the next 2 to 3 months by 1,200, 1,300, and even 1,400% and 500%, but not just 50% or 25%. which normally would be a lot, because the rest of the world pays much less for the identical drug. And we're going to be paying the same thing. We're going to have a favored nations. We will pay as low as the lowest nation in the world.
And then, Mr. President, I think it just came out $29 billion in July taken in tariff revenue. Could we see a potential rebate here, and what would that look like, and who would qualify?
Well, we're going to pay down debt. We have a lot of money coming in, much more money than...
There's not going to be a rebate, you stupid slut. What do you think, Donald Trump is going to cut a check? And also, I love when they say there's been $28 billion of money coming into the nation from tariffs. That's from you, the American consumer. The tariff is paid by the importer on the dock. And then that increased price is passed on to the supplier and the distributor. And then that increased price is passed down to you, the consumer. And you pay the increased price. That $28 billion came from your pocket. That's what he's talking about. I know that they did the best that they possibly could to convince all of these inbred, dumb, fucking hick, redneck bastards that tariffs are actually paid by the other nation. But you would have to be mentally disabled in order to believe that.
The country's ever seen by hundreds.
Does that make me more Republican than Democrats in the Senate and or Congress? I don't know where you live, Hot Wheels.
Of billions of dollars. And there could be a distribution or a dividend to the...
What if we all just stop buying everything? You were not the first person to come up with that. That's called consumer activism. It has never worked once throughout history. Ever. Never once has consumer activism ever fucking worked, especially in a nation like the United States, 360 million people, and we are treatlerites. There is one thing that keeps America going, and it is treats. Cheap treats. Your McDonald's DoorDash being delivered to your apartment in 15 minutes for $12. Being able to order a goddamn Labubu on Amazon Prime. If you give us treats, we will not revolt. Americans are servile little pigmen, at least the overwhelming majority of us. Take away our treats, then we will rebel. But as long as we can get overnight Amazon deliveries and Uber Eats within 45 minutes, nobody will ever rebel in this nation.
People of our country. I would say for people that would be middle-income people and lower-income people, we could do a dividend. But one of the things we're going to be doing is reducing debt. But we have hundreds of billions of dollars pouring into our country now. We should have done this many years ago.
Stop pouring into our country. You're getting that money from the American consumer by increasing the prices of everything.
And I did it in my first term with China. We didn't get to the rest because COVID hit. And you couldn't really go to France and Spain and Italy and say, let's start talking about some tariffs. But China was paying us hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs, and we did it then. And then Biden screwed it all up. He screwed everything he touched, he screwed up. So, thank you.
When will you endorse Winsome Earl Sears in the Virginia governor's race?
Yeah, I would.
Donald, you're frozen again.
I think probably she's got a tough race.
I've only been streaming for 23 minutes,
She shouldn't
brother.
have, but because the candidate she's running against is not very good, but I think she's got a tough race, but I would, yeah.
When will you swear in Jeanine Pirro to be the
I will happily swear in Jeanine Pirro, who's going to be fantastic at what she does in D.C. Over the next very short period of time. I think she's going to be fantastic. Don't forget.
I can't believe we have a government composed of Fox News hosts.
Jeanine Pirro was a great judge and a great prosecutor. And because she was so good, I was there. She was an amazing prosecutor and judge. And because she was so good, they drafted her into show business. And she did fantastic. You know, The Five was the #1 show, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh, my God.
Jeanine Pirro was also really good at that. But her real love is exactly what she's doing. And that's what made her such a success in show business. So Jeanine Pirro is going to be amazing. And I'll swear her in as soon as we can swear her in. We need her. She's going to be amazing.
Mr. President, are you happy with how the Rose Garden turned out? And will you have some kind of event for the Rose Garden? Are you happy with how it turned out?
Yeah, we're getting great reviews on the Rose Garden. And we had to do it. As an example, when we had a press conference, you'd sink into
This is the President of the United States of America. The press pool is talking to the President of the United States of America. Why do I have better quality than you. And I've said this before about their mic quality during their meeting. Why does the government have the worst techies of all time? Of all time. The worst techies of all fucking time.
It would take 3, 4, 5 days for it to dry out, and we couldn't use it for really the intended purpose. So whether they had events or they had news conferences, we
Great
couldn't
job,
use
Forbes.
it.
Great job.
And it's a beautiful white stone, and it's a stone that's the same color as the White House itself. And because it's very white, it's going to reflect the heat. It's not going to be very hot, like if you had a dark stone. So, yeah, we've gotten great reviews on the Rose Garden.
Any update on the search for the Federal Reserve Board? Have you been interviewing candidates?
No, I have a couple of people in mind. I'll be announcing somebody for the filling of the
Who's a terrorist?
person that left. A woman left, as you know, who was I guess a Biden appointment, either Biden or Obama, but I think a Biden appointment. And she left early, and I think she left because she agreed with me on interest rates, and yet they were on the other side of the ballpark, right? So
Me?
I'll be
You think I'm a terrorist? What terrorists do I support? I'd love to know.
announcing that probably over the next couple of days.
Mr. President, one more on tariffs here. As you continue to, pile up these trade deals, are you kind of gaining more leverage over countries that haven't come out?
Yeah, I'm not looking for leverage. I'm looking for fairness. We want reciprocal as much as possible. Sometimes reciprocal would be too much for them to handle because it would be a much bigger number. But we want to see some reciprocity. We want to see reciprocal wherever we can. And all I can say is this: our country will be taking in hundreds of billions of dollars. You just said it. Already we're taking in, billions and billions of dollars. And it was very unfair. The world treated us very unfair. But the next big move is going to be the price of drugs. Because you could buy something in London or in Germany, someplace in Germany or many countries where it's 1/10, 1/3, 1/4, but sometimes 1/10 the price of what it costs to buy it in New York or some other place. And we're not doing that anymore. We're not allowing that anymore. That started many years ago when people were asleep at the wheel in this country, and they allowed that to happen, and I'm stopping it.
I'm a UN ambassador. Will that still be a cabinet level position?
I just want to point out in the chatter goes like they haven't paid any attention to their college classes. Brother, you use the wrong there. When you're gonna and listen, I know you're a comrade. When you're gonna insult people's intelligence, we have to make sure we use the right grammar. Otherwise, it's sort of like a what do you call it? It's like an Uno reverse card. Hits you right back. I've written like 4 comments, but none of them nice about this orange turd and had to delete so I don't get in trouble.
Or not?
I don't know. I haven't determined that yet. That's a good question. I'll make a decision. He's a very good guy, but I'll make a decision.
Mr. President, what is your relationship with Laura Loomer? What kind of influence? With Laura Loomer, what kind of influence
Oh, she blows me.
does she have in
I
the White
think
House?
she's very nice. I mean, I know she's known as a radical right, but I think Laura Loomer is a very nice person. I've known her for a long time. And, personally, I think she's a patriot. And she gets excited because of the fact
Rocky, and I have better grammar than your ass, chatter.
that she's a patriot. And
Great argument there. Unfortunately, your mama.
she doesn't like things going on that she thinks are bad for the country. I like her. Okay?
President, actress Sydney Sweeney came out this weekend that she was a registered Republican.
Why are we talking about Sydney fucking Sweeney to the President of the United fucking States?
Any thoughts on that?
That who was?
Sydney Sweeney, she's like a very hot actress right now.
She's a registered Republican?
Yes.
Oh, now I love her ad. Is
Oh
that
my
right?
God.
Is Sydney Sweeney? You'd be surprised at how many people are Republicans. That's what I wouldn't have known, but I'm glad you told me that. If Sydney Sweeney is a registered Republican, I think her ad is fantastic. Okay, thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Mr.
What? What? Brother, what? He hasn't seen it. He hasn't seen it. He doesn't even know who Sydney Sweeney is. Guaranteed, he has no fucking idea who that is. No shot in hell. If he thinks he can force us Europeans to pay American drug prices, he's delusional. We will demand making them here. We have the capacity and will disregard the American IP. I don't think that's his move. His move here is trying to say that Americans have to pay lower drug prices because in Europe you guys pay lower drug prices. I think that's what he's trying to do here, but it won't work. The pharmaceutical company, America is a country run by corporations, not by politicians. He can't go to war with the pharmaceutical industry and then expect to win. It's not fucking possible.
All right, Chris. Well, a top story this morning. South Carolina Congresswoman Nancy Mace officially enters the governor's race.
Chris, do you like Hassan Piker? I fucking love Hassan Piker. He's my greatest influence. I'm not even kidding. He is the reason why we are here right now. I would not be doing this shit if I hadn't stumbled upon Hassan in like 2019.
She just wrapped up an event in Charleston at her alma mater at the Citadel. Mace has been hinting at a run for months now. She served as a representative for South Carolina's 1st congressional district since 2021 and served in the General Assembly before that. She is a retired school teacher and the daughter of a retired Army general. Some of her key ideas of her campaign include slashing state income tax, protecting our borders, and advancing school choice. She was also the first woman to graduate from the Citadel's Corps of Cadets. In her announcement just moments ago, she spoke about why she...
Yesterday was Sunday dinner with the family and all the classic talking points. All they want is freak stuff. Where'd you get your ideas from? College professors, I want to explode. Yeah, I mean, listen, it happens. One thing that you should tell them is be like, do you, like, if they say that, like, college is a liberal brainwashing machine, you should be like, Donald Trump went to college. J.D. Vance went to college. Fucking, I don't think Charlie Kirk actually went to college, but Ben Shapiro went to college. George W. Bush went to college. All of these famous, every Republican congressman you see went to college. So how is it that all of these Republicans went to college and they were, what are they, just like super special boys that were fighting against a liberal brainwashing machine the whole time? The fuck are we talking about?
She says that this campaign is a calling.
I'm not here to fault. I'm here to fight for you and your values. Together we will make South Carolina more prosperous, more educated, more healthy, and more safe. This isn't just a campaign.
Yeah, Hitler went to college. Hitler.
It's a calling for common sense, a calling for courage, and a call to put South Carolina first.
Well, Mace joins a growing list of Republicans vying to replace Governor Henry McMaster, who will reach his term limit. Some of the names include Congressman Ralph Norman, Lieutenant Governor Pamela Evette,
When is YouTube's ID sign-in supposed to happen? I don't know, but pretty soon you fuckers are going to have to put in a goddamn ID card in order to use YouTube. The patriarchy is running the government, patented.
Josh Kimbrell and South Carolina Attorney General Alan Wilson. So you can stay connected to next year's governor's race.
ID verifications? Yeah. In order to, quote-unquote, protect the children, they're doing ID verification in order to get onto YouTube. Yes, I'm not kidding. You're going to have an ID that proves you are older the age of 18 in order to access a lot of YouTube videos. Wait, what?
In July, the Smithsonian removed references from an exhibit on the American presidency that referred to President Trump's 2 impeachments. The Smithsonian says that decision was made after a review of the museum's legacy content this year. The museum says that board added in 2021 as a temporary update stayed up longer than planned. They add the future updates will include all presidential impeachments, but did not give a timeline.
So they're just, dude, remember when I told you months back when Trump started to delete stuff about blacks and gays off of the government website? Said Trump is going to scrub any and all history that paints the United States in a bad light. And I firmly believe if we continue down this road in about 40 years, there will be no mention of slavery in the United States for the high school curriculum. There will be, you will have to wait until college if you go to study slavery in the United States. And even then, the private universities that teach about slavery are going to lose all of their federal funding and slowly dissipate. We are moving into an era where we literally deny history. We just deny history entirely. We should start a mod group chat. We can do that. Plus, if you guys need more mods, you can start auditioning and recruiting people. Brother, I learned about the war of northern aggression. Exactly, that's my point. That is my point. It's only going to get worse.
We're going to begin with something that's not so fun, depending on your point of view. It's a showdown that could have a big impact on democracy in this country. In Texas, the Republicans want to withdraw the political map in a way that could help them win additional seats. So in response, Democratic lawmakers have just fled the state.
People still think the South is where slavery took place most? What? It was. Like, yeah, sure, a lot of the coastal states, but in the southern half of the nation is where slavery took place the most. That's true. That's where a lot of the tobacco plantations were. That's where all the cotton plantations were. That's where most of the slaves were. What?
A power grab by President Trump. And now
Brazil had hella slaves. Yeah, no shit, brother, we're talking about the United States of America. Of course Brazil had other slaves. The Portuguese enslaved more people than like fucking anybody.
Threatening to expel and arrest them if they do not come back. Ed O'Keefe is in St. Charles, Illinois. Ed, good morning. Things getting very dicey in Texas today.
Texas and now here in Illinois as well, Gail. Good morning. At least 51 Texas House Democrats left their home state last night, came to this lovely Illinois town in order to block a Republican-written congressional map that was set to pass the State House later today. The Republican governor, Greg Abbott, is threatening to expel these legislators for not showing up for work if they don't today. The Republican Attorney General...
Things going to get better only after they get worse.
...threatening to arrest them. They could face big fines, but so far... These Democrats.
Korea has the longest uninterrupted streak of slavery as well. Yes, but we are specifically talking about chattel slavery. Okay? I don't think the Koreans participated in chattel slavery.
Fine.
We are here to fight for the millions of Texans who don't want Trump's Texas takeover.
Dozens of Texas House Democrats are now in the Chicago suburbs, leaving their state behind and disrupting plans to vote on a new Republican-drawn map to reshape congressional power in the Lone Star State.
We're not here to play political games.
Chattel slavery with T's. There is slavery, which has been used throughout all of human history. Slavery is, you conquer a fucking enemy territory, and part of your victory is enslaving all of the enemies. Or slavery could be somebody somebody refuses to pay a debt, right? And then you find them and then you enslave them. Slavery has been used as a form of punishment for a very long time. Chattel slavery, which is enslaving all of the people of Africa, which is dehumanizing the people of Africa and saying they are not even humans, they are subhuman, right? A 400 to 500 year long slave trade where you are solely grabbing black people. That is chattel slavery. It is entirely different from enslaving your enemies or enslaving your criminals or enslaving people for a prison sentence. This is enslaving people based on how they were born, where they were born, innate traits that nobody can change. It is completely different. It is completely different.
We're here to demand.
I like you, Valenti, but Hassan is the worst. I think your league's ahead of him, just my opinion. Listen, I appreciate that. I love Hassan. I don't think that he's the worst at all. I think he's fucking great. He's the one who's opened my eyes into leftist ideology. I mean, if you could tell me what your fucking problem is with Hassan, then maybe we can address it. But you can't just say, I think he's the worst. That doesn't give me anything to work with.
And an end to this corrupt process.
President Trump has directed Texas Republicans redraw their map.
On Texas, how many more seats do you want the Republicans to draw?
5.
In hopes of avoiding the losses that usually happen to a president's party in midterm elections. Right now, Texas Republicans hold 25 of the state's 38 seats in the House of Representatives, but the redrawn map would give the GOP an advantage in at least 5 more seats. Down in West Dallas.
Mark Vesey, your congressman.
I know.
Yeah, how are you doing?
I know that face.
Yes.
Texas Democratic Congressman Mark Vesey is a familiar face at this community center in a neighborhood he's represented for a dozen years.
I'm really concerned that they may be left with representation that does not reflect the values
Remind me who
and
Hassan
the
is?
political.
Hassan Piker, I think he's in the top 10 Twitch streamers of all time. I think he's the #1 political streamer on Twitch. But yeah, no, he's just a leftist. He's a socialist. He's Muslim. He's the one who saved me from the alt-right pipeline.
Beliefs and desires of the people that that live in these neighborhoods.
Vesey now wants Democrats in other states like California and Illinois to redraw their maps.
Absolutely, I have no issues with that.
What you're saying is it's time for Democrats to fight fire with fire.
Absolutely, you have to match Trump's energy. If you don't match Trump's energy, you get run over.
Texas Republican Governor Greg Abbott says the new map is necessary to address constitutional concerns raised by the Justice Department. But critics across the state call it a power grab. Thousands showed up.
Chris could have been another Asmongold if it wasn't for Hassan. Oh my God, you're right. You're absolutely right. No, I probably would have been like Steven Crowder, but actually entertaining.
Field hearings across the state in recent days, some driving hours to be heard.
You drove how many hours?
4 hours.
To come and speak tonight?
Yes.
That's how much this bothers you?
Yes.
How are they sure the people will vote that way? There are definitely Democrats in Texas. There are voting records for specific districts and different counties, right? Like you could look up your county and you could see that 85% of your county votes Republican, right? So what Trump is trying to do and Texas legislators are trying to do is redraw the map so that Republican majority areas can get their own representative rather than ones that are mixed where it's kind of like a throw in the air of who will win, the Democrat or Republican. Redrawing the map so the Democrats are the minority in their districts, right? Do you understand what I'm saying? It's like, I don't even know how to come up with a metaphor for this, but it's simply redrawing the districts so that areas where there is a good chance that a Democrat may win will now be a super minority. The Democrats will not even have a chance to win in that district. How far down the right-wing pipeline did you end up? I was watching Steven Crowder, Charlie Kirk, Ben Shapiro, all that.
Now, in a statement overnight, the Texas Republican Party calls the Democrats, quote, stunt to cut quorum, nothing more than a transparent attempt to weaponize chaos and rewrite reality. While Texas Republicans are working to ensure fair and lawful redistricting that reflects the will of Texans, the Republicans say, Democrats are choosing obstruction over representation, denying voters their voice to score political headlines. Nate, this has kicked up something down in Texas we've never quite seen before.
No doubt. Everything's bigger in Texas, and even the drama. Ed, thank you.
But dude, Texas governors literally leaving the state is such a baller fucking move. Let's see how Fox covers this whole bullshit, because they're going to run defense for him.
President Trump doubling down on his decision to fire the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics after Friday's weak jobs report showed a massive downward revision for May and for June. President's calling it a scam, blasting Erica McIntyre for what he calls the biggest miscalculations in over 50 years. Watch.
We'll be announcing a new statistician sometime over the next 3 or 4 days.
What if those Republican voters are won over by the left? Is that possible? No. Republican voters are incapable of thinking for themselves, at least the majority of them. They simply vote Republican no matter what. Hitler could be reincarnated and run in the Republican ticket, and they will vote for him. The reason why the Democrats have a problem is because we refuse to unify under some bullshit flag of liberalism. Republicans are so brain-dead, servile, and inferior that they all rally behind their perfect and humble orange Führer, no matter what. There is a small select group of Republicans that have rebelled, but they've been ostracized by the party, and they'll never get power again.
I mean, the numbers were ridiculous. If you remember, just before the election, this woman came out with these phenomenal numbers on Biden's economy. Phenomenal numbers. And then right after the election, they announced that those numbers were wrong. And that's what they did the other day. So it's a scam, in my opinion.
Democratic Senator Richard Blumenthal, meanwhile, calling for Labor Secretary Lori Chavez DeRemer to resign, saying she's the one at fault. Watch this.
I think the Secretary of Labor ought to resign. I think this is a resigning issue. For the president to interfere with the basic function of the Commissioner of Labor Statistics to assure accurate flow of information, I think, is a resigning matter for Lori Chavez DeRemer.
Well, joining me now by phone, the woman herself, Labor Secretary Lori Chavez DeRemer. Madam Secretary, thank you. I want to get your reactions to those comments from Senator Blumenthal.
Thank you, Cheryl, for having me. Well, it's nonsense. I think Senator Blumenthal knows very well that the Labor Commissioner is independent of the Secretary of Labor, and the President absolutely has the right to determine who is going to be advising him, and I support the President's decision in this replacement. This is an important time in America's history, but the one thing we count on is accurate information. This is information that when we see revisions as we saw this last week, of course the President is going to take that into account when we've seen a pattern of revisions happening over the last few years that have been detrimental to and can be to the markets. So Senator Blumenthal is incorrect in saying so.
Just now joining what I missed. Russia's former president Medvedev said that Israel is not the only nation on earth with compromising videos of Trump's immorality, insinuating that they have probably the piss tape. Trump doubled down on firing the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Texas governors are fleeing the state in order to prevent them from redrawing the districts. Just a lot of fuck shit.
In this issue, and I do support him. We have to ensure for the American people that we can trust this data. It's influential. It changes markets. It changes investments, and the transparency that the president is asking for is important to the American economy.
Well, and these numbers, to your point, yes, are incredibly important to the market. We cover them extensively on this program, Madam Secretary, and I want to get your response to this. Alicia Finley in the Wall Street Journal this morning writes, Trump claims the jobs report was rigged, but was it? What she goes into is the problems at BLS, and this is what I want to get your take on. She says the truth is the job numbers have become more volatile because of declining business survey response rates. She also says that the Bureau, these surveys, the phone, the web, even the fax, these businesses just aren't responding to these. And then the editorial board wrote the Bureau of Labor denial, and they unfortunately took a hit at you, Madam Secretary, because initially you said that there was positive job growth Friday morning, and then later on it was, I agree with the
I've not seen the Jasmine Crockett Pro-Mania video, no.
And the political purposes of this data. Where do you stand this morning on this, Madam Secretary?
We're still seeing a net positive. Over 500,000 jobs have been created by this president. And we understand that these surveys come in from businesses, from the American worker themselves. It's the revisions that is the question, the transparency of those revisions. We have no accurate information if we don't see, if we see numbers that are declining over the last 50 years. The biggest revision that has happened in the last 50 years gives us pause. And then the president and his team went back and took a look and said, this has happened over the last few years. Of course, the question would be, what is happening? How are we understanding those numbers? And when the American people are going to make determinations, investors, businesses are going to make determinations for the markets, it's going to be important that that is accurate information. It is not a political office. This is supposed to be independent of politics. And the president has taken a look at this, and I support his decision when we're seeing the biggest revisions in 50 years. That is the
We should deport this bitch.
evidence that we are seeing. So, you know, the acting secretary, the acting commissioner will come in until he finds a replacement for that office. And I just don't understand why it has to be.
Chavez Derrimer, sounds a little illegal. Somebody should call ICE and report this bitch. Thank you for the $10. I leave for the Army today. Love you, Chris. Can I get a good luck, soldier? Mr. Heat Pegseth, good luck, soldier. And always remember, just because it's an order doesn't mean you have to do it. You're going to be ordered to do some fuck shit. Don't do it. I wish you the best of luck. Have a good one.
A political issue, but the president will take a hard look at this, and it's important that we get accurate information to the people.
So you do plan to do a follow-up investigation to find out if her actions were indeed political when it came to the release of the jobs report?
Well, that's going to be incumbent upon the president and his team. It is my responsibility as labor secretary, independent of BLS, is to.
You're in the Army. It's badass, man. You're going to love it. Don't lie to the kid. Listen, about 12 years from now, you're going to regret this decision heavily, and you're going to hate your life. You're also not going to be receiving any benefits from the government, and you're more likely to be homeless. So do your best to learn some skills that can be applied outside of the military. Otherwise, when you're done, you're fucked. No one's going to help you.
Working with these numbers as we want to grow the economy. My job specifically is to increase the workforce, increase the American workers, and that's what we've been doing under this president. I mean, I have been on this 50-state tour, and this has taken a highlight because it caused us pause on Friday. We had seen increasing numbers, and we see 2-month revision that is going to wipe out the growth that we're seeing. It didn't make sense, and it didn't make sense to the president. So I support him in this decision to fire the labor commissioner.
All right. Well, let me ask you this. Kevin Hassett, National Economic Director, he joined Shannon Bream on Fox News Sunday yesterday. Here's his take on those revisions that we're discussing. Listen to this.
We've got 3% GDP growth.
Just so you know, if the U.S. crashes the global economy again, we're not paying you again. This time we'll demand we drop the dollar in trade and make the U.S. pay for its broken trash. I'm assuming you're European. And this isn't an insult to you, but no, you won't. Unfortunately, Europe does not have power on the world stage at all. And this isn't me being like an American supremacist. European nations will always bend the knee to the United States of America. You don't have any leg to stand on. We could invade Europe and conquer it in less than 48 hours. And that's not a threat. That's what the United States is capable of. We make more. Dude, New York City makes more money than most European nations. You don't have bargaining chips. Nothing. Europe has nothing to play with in the game. In the game of politics, you guys have nothing.
Growth, and yes, this week a disappointing jobs number. When I first saw the big revisions, which by the way were the largest revisions going all the way back for 50 years, if we exclude the COVID years, when I saw those revisions, I thought it must be a typo. That I've never seen a revision like this, and if the data aren't that good, then it's a real problem for the U.S. And right now, the data have become very unreliable with these massive revisions over the last few years.
So, Madam Secretary, as you move forward with all of this reworking of BLS, do you...
48 hours, you realize we have nukes, right? Yeah, I know, but I said conquer it. You can't conquer a place that you fucking nuke. Boots on the ground, 48 hours, all of Europe has American flags, and they're all bending the knee.
Think that it is now time to do a complete overhaul and get that funding. He also mentioned the funding that should be given to the BLS to make sure that this data is correct because it is so crucial to the markets and to the U.S.
Yeah, I think Kevin Hassett is correct in saying that, you know, this is 2025. We can modernize, we can streamline, we can make the investments so we have the accurate data. Businesses are relying on it. The American workers relying on it. The transparency there should be...
No, I mean, we have nukes as in Europe has nukes? Oh, well, I mean, listen, if we're talking about a nuclear exchange, nobody fucking wins. Like, I wasn't even putting that on the table. It doesn't matter. You're talking about nuclear exchanges, everyone's fucking dead. It doesn't matter.
These are numbers. We don't have to be political in numbers. We just have to have the accurate data input to have the outcomes that people can rely on.
Conquering Europe, you couldn't even conquer Afghanistan. That's valid.
And so he is correct that maybe there needs to be an overhaul, and I'm sure that the National Economic Council is going to take a hard look at that in consultation.
But hear me out. I know this is going to be a hot take. The people of the Middle East are better fighters than Americans and Europeans. The people of the Middle East have only known struggle. So, like, they're like, dude, they will always be willing to fight. They like, that's just their common state, their state of normalcy, you know.
With the White House to understand, is this the accuracy that the people are counting on, and then people can make decisions. For me, the American economy, we're growing these numbers, 500,000 jobs. Yes, we expected a higher number, but when we saw those
better fighters, but not better armed. Yeah, and they won. You'd be surprised, bro. I mean, like, dude, we learned this lesson against the Vietnamese. Just because you have better weaponry doesn't mean diddly shit. The side with more morale and the side with, like, a real reason to fight, they win 90% of the time.
It did give us pause to take a look at, is there a better way? Why shouldn't we ask those questions? Is there a better way to get the information so we can make better decisions? For instance, the Fed rate. You know, the Fed rate didn't drop because these numbers were high. If that wasn't the accurate case, would there have been a different decision there? And you can see the president leaning in to Jerome Powell to say, lower this interest rate.
$2 for battle mason. Afghanistan is where empires go to die. Absolutely. Very true.
I think that's taking another hard look at that. If we don't have the accurate data, we don't make good decisions. And any business owner, any worker is going to...
Yeah, so this dumb bitch is just running defense for Trump because she's a fucking loyalist. Britain ain't white anymore. Tell that to their food.
Tonight, President Trump's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, set to travel to Russia ahead of the president's Friday.
We'd have more morale. We're defending ourselves. We have more fighters. We have a history of struggle. And us Greeks are born of... Oh, you're Greek! Oh, no, we'd take over Greece in 6 or 7 minutes. I thought you were talking about like a real European powerhouse, not a collection of islands. Are you kidding me?
Friday
we take your shit over in about
Kremlin
45 minutes.
Its war against...
Are you out of your fucking mind? Greece?
Tonight, President Trump's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, set to travel to Russia ahead of the president's Friday deadline for the Kremlin to halt its war against...
Why does it always fucking do this, bro? My shit won't go full screen. There we go.
Ukraine. 6 months into... Tonight, President Trump's special...
Sorry, I got heated. Even the notion of someone invading my homeland makes my blood boil. I have to deal with the Russian threat already, so I snapped. Bro, you don't need to apologize. This is a conversation. It doesn't matter how well armed you are. If you're trained by the CIA and the FBI, you're going to have an advantage over the average soldier. You guys have nothing to apologize for. I'm just telling you, like, listen, there is only one nation on Earth. Actually, incorrect. There are only 2 nations on Earth that could destroy the United States military. One of them is China, and the other one is the United States of America. China's whole plan is the sleeping dragon. They'll just sit there and wait for us to destroy ourselves. But no, there's no European power that could beat the might of the United States military. Perhaps if all of Europe united, you would stand a chance. But no, you're not going to beat the might of the U.S. military.
Envoy Steve Witkoff set to travel to Russia ahead of the president's Friday deadline for the Kremlin to halt its war against Ukraine. 6 months into office, Trump suggesting his patience with President Vladimir Putin has waned.
We had NATO? Honey, we are NATO. Sweetheart, the United States is NATO. Without the United States, NATO is useless.
There's good conversations where we could have ended this thing. Yeah. And all of a sudden, bombs start flying.
A source familiar with the administration's plans tells NBC News that in addition to Witkoff's meetings in Russia, the White House is...
I'm honestly convinced the NYPD could conquer fucking Greece.
Special envoy to Ukraine, Keith Kellogg, will soon head to Kyiv. Their meeting as animosity between the Trump White House and the Kremlin reaches its most perilous high. Dmitry Medvedev, the number 2 to Putin on Russia's Security Council, warning Trump about his ceasefire ultimatum to not forget Russia's nuclear capabilities. The president responding,
So I have sent to the region 2 nuclear submarines. I just want to make sure that his words are only words and nothing more than that.
The U.S. ambassador to NATO also making the case this weekend for the White House's negotiating efforts.
I think President Trump has been pretty clear that this war in Ukraine is not going to be settled on the battlefield. Ultimately, it's got to be negotiated, and there
No,
needs
we didn't leave NATO. We keep threatening to leave NATO.
to be peace.
As envoy, Witkoff has been President Trump's point person for conflicts in both Ukraine and in Gaza.
The whole of the EU would unite. We're all sick and tired of this. Brother, you are misunderstanding entirely. Yes, you are tired of this. You, the people, are tired of this. Your leaders are not. Your representatives benefit greatly from their alliance with the United States of America. Your leaders will never turn your back on the fucking US dollar that we give them in the tens of millions to stay as servile doggies. That's what European leadership is. Servants to the United States. If you really want change in your nation's relationship with the United States of America, you need young leadership, because everybody in Europe over the age of 40 is completely dependent on the United States of America.
His upcoming trip
It's been this way since World War I. Why do you think the Germans lost World War I? Because of French bravery? No, because of American weaponry. Why do you think the Nazis lost World War II? Because of British courage? No, because of American weaponry. Why do you think the Soviets collapsed? Because of the prowess of American democracy? No, because of the power of American capitalism. You live in the consequences of American capitalism.
Russia comes after a 3-day stop in the Middle East, visiting with hostage families and Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu. And Friday, he stopped in Gaza, a rare visit by a high-level U.S. official, to see firsthand the humanitarian crisis on the ground.
Vaughn Hilliard is traveling with the president in New Jersey and joins us now. Vaughn, the president's now threatening the Kremlin if they do not meet his timeline for a ceasefire, right?
Hallie, he is saying the U.S. will add new sanctions and tariffs if a deadline is not met of Friday. Though to note, the president has given Russia a deadline before, and it passed with no clear consequence. Hallie?
I have to disagree with you a little bit. You're only thinking about traditional war. How are we going to get our asses? How we are going to get our asses handed to us? Cyber warfare. Admin makes us vulnerable. Oh yeah, I mean the United States' cybersecurity system is dog shit. Listen, if you wanted to fucking destroy the U.S., all you got to do is knock out our satellites, turn off the power in the United States for 2 weeks. We'll destroy ourselves. Complete and total anarchy. All you got to do is wait long enough for parents to not have access to baby formula, and you will see tens of millions of Americans suddenly become murderers. What a parent will do to feed their child would scare the fuck out of you. Don't give them any ideas? All right, well, I mean, it's not like they haven't thought of this. Yeah, Nelson's a daddy. He'll tell you right now, Nelson loves me, but I swear to God, if I had baby formula and he had a hungry baby, Nelson would slit my fucking throat for that baby formula. And as he should. That is a father's duty. You don't want to wake up a nation of parents to hungry children. That's not a nation you want to fuck with. Here comes Cuck
And this
Schumer.
morning, I was really proud to join every single one of my
This morning, I was really proud to get more and more money from AIPAC.
colleagues on the Homeland Committee.
Look at his fucking physiology, bro. And today, we're going to be taking more money from AIPAC. Fucking gross, dude.
Invoking a century-old and little-known law known as the Rule of Five to compel the Department of
Away from the internet for a few days, the U.S. at war with Russia? No, we're threatening to nuke Russia because the former president of Russia tweeted something that insulted Trump. So now we're threatening to nuke them.
Justice to release the full and complete Epstein files. Under federal law, when any 5 senators on the Homeland Security Committee call on the executive branch must comply.
As in compliance with the law, the executive branch must comply. Bitch, no they don't. The executive branch doesn't comply to a 9-0 Supreme Court order. You think they give a fuck what you have to say? And dude, I'm a leftist, and I don't give a fuck what you have to say. You fucking Zionist, corrupt piece of shit. You fucking insider trading, profiting hundreds of millions of dollars over your government seat. Fuck you and retire, you old piece of shit. Why don't you give your fucking seat to somebody who actually represents us, you fucking scumbag. God, Chuck Schumer is such a piece of shit.
Our request covers all documents, files, evidence, and other materials in possession of the DOJ, the FBI, related to the case of United States versus Jeffrey Epstein. While protecting the victims' identities can and must be of top importance, the public has a right to know who enabled, knew of, or participated in one of the most heinous sex trafficking operations in history. Let me remind everyone of what's happened in recent months. Donald Trump campaigned on releasing the Epstein files. He broke that promise. Trump should stop hiding from the truth. He should stop hiding from the American people. So today, Senate Democrats took action. We're invoking federal law and using our authority as a check on the executive to compel transparency.
Yeah. What the fuck is this?
Move, bro. Move, come on.
Holy fuck!
Easy, guys.
Holy fuck! What the fuck? Ah! What the fuck, dude? Is that Cenk? Oh, God! Cenk, what are you doing? What are you doing, Cenk? Oh, fuck, dude. I'm not watching that, dude. Cenk, what are you doing? Oh, God. Oh, look, Israeli propaganda.
Let's turn to Gaza right now. President Trump's special envoy and ambassador to Israel, both visiting food distribution centers today in Gaza at the center of really a worldwide debate over allegations
if you're new here, I'm Chris Valenti. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. It costs you nothing and it helps me immensely.
Including this one showing a massive Palestinian standing behind barbed wire and facing a soldier. The trip comes as the Palestinian Health Ministry says more than 150 people in Gaza have now died from malnutrition since the start of the war. And we need to warn you, the images you're seeing here and you're going to see are very disturbing, but they are important for the world to see. Medical staff on the ground, including some Americans, are doing everything they can with whatever resources they have to try to save people, including the most vulnerable children. NBC's Matt Bradley has more on their efforts to save some of the youngest victims of hunger.
At Gaza's Nasser Hospital, doctors are struggling to keep 4-month-old Zainab alive. She's one of several starving and malnourished children our reporting team in Gaza have followed in recent months.
First, as a mother, it breaks your heart. But also as a human, we cannot bear to see something like this.
The few American doctors here are doing what they can to help Palestinian medical staff. A photo above Zainab's cot reads, Zainab the Queen. She suffers from a condition that means she needs special baby formula. Foreign doctors saying any formula they bring with them is confiscated by Israeli authorities, part of a wider 5-month blockade of the Strip. Images of skeletal Palestinian children like Zainab sparking outrage around the world, but Israel is casting doubt on claims of famine.
There is no policy of starvation in Gaza, and there is no starvation in Gaza.
The Israeli prime minister saying it's a food distribution problem. But it all comes as even one of Israel's closest allies, the president of the U.S., says there's real starvation in Gaza. Special envoy Steve Witkoff and Ambassador Mike Huckabee making a rare visit to Gaza to see aid distribution sites and assess the conditions, although they didn't visit what remains of Gaza's hospitals. Doctors here say evidence of starvation is obvious and everywhere.
Come inside and take a look for yourself. Don't believe what other people are saying. Take a look with your own eyes.
All food is scarce. 12-year-old Huda says her condition means she can only drink milk. Now thin and her hair falling out, she stares at photos of herself taken before war robbed her of her childhood. I used to play, run, do everything, she says, but now I don't play or run. I just lie in bed at the hospital. Mothers lacking nutrition are struggling to breastfeed their children.
This is one of the extreme examples of malnutrition. When we asked the mother why you didn't give her breastfeeding, she told us that she was starved. She's just only the skin over the bone.
Trying to get food in Gaza can be deadly. The UN says more than 1,000 Palestinians have been killed trying to access the limited supplies Israel's allowed into Gaza, distributed by an Israeli and American-backed private aid group. American doctor Eli Dallas Burgos says this boy was shot in the head while seeking food. He's unlikely to heal while malnourished, he says.
So if you survive the trauma, you may then die from starvation afterwards. And so that's been really difficult. The starvation is en masse. This is not just one or two people. This is the entire population.
While foreign medics rotate into Gaza every few months, Palestinian doctors and nurses stuck in Gaza struggle.
I can't even watch this shit, dude. Wonder how the Israelis would like being fucking starved. I wonder how they'd like it.
Hour with the big Republican power grab in Texas, which could tip the balance of power in Congress in the midterms.
This is proof God does not exist? No, it's proof that God is unworthy of praise. That's what this is. So it's very simple. If you believe that God is all-knowing and all-powerful, that means that he is purposefully starving those children to death, which means he's unworthy of praise. Now, if you're going to say that God isn't doing this, that means that God is not all-knowing and all-powerful, which also means he's not worthy of praise. But I'll tell you this, when I die, God is going to have to beg me for his forgiveness. Or, sorry, beg me for my forgiveness. I'm not begging him for shit.
Texas Republicans, following the demands of President Trump, unveiled a new congressional map this week that could hand the GOP 5 additional House seats, each drawn in areas Trump carried by double digits. And the plan is moving quickly. After a marathon hearing on Friday, the committee could vote to approve the maps today, setting up a full House vote as early as this Tuesday before it heads to the Texas State Senate. California Governor Gavin Newsom has already signaled he's prepared to respond, floating a congressional map that could pick up 6 Democratic House seats if Texas moves forward. And Texas Democrats are not holding back, calling out the Republicans' blatantly political moves.
This is not a Texas map. It is a Trump map. It was not requested by any Republican or any Democrat in Texas. It was imposed by President Trump, who has a stranglehold on Congress. And the only question here is whether he also has a stranglehold on this Texas legislature.
The only way that you get here is by making sure that you trample upon the rights and the liberties and the voices of minorities.
What are we doing? How can we ignore what happened with the Guadalupe? How can we put that off and decide that gerrymandering is more important than taking care of the lives of those people? The people of Texas are not going to forget this. They're not going to forget because I'm not going to let them.
Joining us now, Democratic Congressman Lloyd Doggett of Texas, who you saw in a moment ago in that video, and Texas Democratic State Representative Rafael Anchia. State Representative, I want to start with you because, you know,
Al Green is always based. India is not only buying massive amounts of Russian oil, they are then, for much of the oil purchase, selling it on the open market for big profits. They don't care how many people in Ukraine are being killed by the Russian war machine. Because of this, I will be substantially raising the tariff paid by India to the USA. What state would you say is the most corrupt? That's a hard one. Probably Oklahoma. Probably Oklahoma. Probably Oklahoma. Do you think that current Zionists that genuinely support this are beyond help? Yeah. Dude, if you can see the footage that we just watched and you're in support of it, you're no longer a human being. Like, and that's not debatable. If you can look at a emaciated, starving infant and feel giddy, you don't deserve to breathe. That's I think, a completely fair assessment.
Joining me now with more on the agenda and the efforts to undermine President Trump in this Sunday Morning Futures exclusive is the White House Deputy Chief of Staff, Stephen Miller. Stephen, it's great to have you this morning. Welcome.
Great. Let's record this so we can watch it together. All right, hold on. Let's watch this together. Hi, how you doing? So, as we all know, Trump is an agent of chaos, but Trump has a right-hand man who we've all talked about before, Herr Goebbels. His name is Stephen Miller. He's this guy, the bald Nazi who has a video from when he was in high school talking about how he's extremely pro-torture and that we should be, like, torture is the most humane thing that you could do to somebody. It's a celebration of life. This guy who orchestrated like 1,000 Trump rallies, writes all of his speeches. This guy's a Nazi, okay? He's a Nazi. This guy is now about to do an interview on Fox, and as we all know, Fox News is just silver spoon propaganda that is designed strictly for the Fuhrer, because they know the Fuhrer is watching every last episode. I mean, for fuck's sake, half the goddamn cabinet is from Fox News. You got Pete Hegseth and Judge Janine and fucking, what's her name, Paula White. You got all these fucking people who've been on Fox because that's the only thing that Trump can process or understand. But we're going to watch this interview with Herr Goebbels on Fox where he's talking about the whole Russia conspiracy. Now, this is important because the former president of Russia, Dmitry Medvedev, came out, I think it was yesterday, like last night, and said, I hope Trump doesn't think that Israel is the only nation with compromising material of his immoral actions. Essentially, Russia's saying, hey, by the way, we've got the tape of you getting pissed on by a Russian hooker, you fat, orange, fascist piece of shit oxygen thief. And also saying, we're not Israel, bro. Like, we don't give a fuck about our relationship with you. We'll drop it. Meanwhile, at the same time, Trump is moving Trump is moving nuclear submarines into range of Russia, and he's lowering the 50-day deadline for the ceasefire against Ukraine to 10 days, and the Russians don't give a fuck. Trump is like, we're going to put sanctions on you, and the Russians are like, we don't care. You've put sanctions on us 1,000,000 times before. We don't care. We're in the BRICS nations. We trade with 48% of the world population. Why would we give a fuck about an American sanction? But regardless, we're going to watch this interview. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. It costs you nothing, and it helps me immensely. If you are new here, hi there. I'm Chris Valenti. I'm a douchebag who majored in history, minored in political science, and hates fascism. I'm from New York. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and donate to the channel. This is real independent media. I have no funding. I have no sponsors. I've never had a deal with a government or an advertiser or a billionaire. So if you want to help me out, hit the thanks button below. Buy merch, become a member, become a patron, do anything and everything you got to do to send me some fucking money, because it goes to creating a new fucking setup. Because right now, look at this goddamn setup. You're on a fucking laptop, all right? I don't want to hear shit from you. All right, let's do it.
Stephen Miller. Stephen, it's great to have you this morning. Welcome.
Great to be here. Thank you.
And I want to start with the Russia collusion story because I know you lived it as well. They also tried to spy on you.
Sophie.
They wanted your emails, subpoenaed you as they left people really with their lives changed. Your reaction to what was released this week?
The Russia collusion hoax against President Trump remains the single greatest hoax and the greatest assault on our democracy in the history of this country. There's no comparison, there's no parallel to any.
I can think of one other assault on American democracy that was pretty important. It was called the Civil War. When half of our nation seceded from the Union, and then we went to war with ourselves, and it was the bloodiest conflict in our nation's history. You could take all of the deaths from every war we have ever fought and combine them, and it still doesn't meet the amount of deaths from the Civil War. That is how fucking brutal the Civil War was for us.
Anything else. It was a coup, and I'm using that term literally. It was a coup to.
All right, I can think of another, I can think of a real coup, an attempted coup, was January 6th, when Trump tried to overthrow the government and push forward a fraudulent electorate slate. They also built a gallows and were chanting "Hang Mike Pence." They also broke into the Capitol with zip ties and pipe bombs and were getting ready to slaughter our government. I don't know, maybe that one maybe I'm the only one thinking about that.
Overthrow a democratically elected government. A coup carried out by the intelligence apparatus of this country, by the deep state, by Hillary Clinton and the Democrat Party. The new information that has been revealed by the Director of National Intelligence and by the FBI eliminates any scintilla of doubt about the intention, the premeditation, the planning and orchestration of this conspiracy. It meets all.
Dude, they're doing everything they possibly can to distract from the fucking Epstein files. It's not working, dude. Nobody gives a fuck about this. Nobody believes that Barack Obama committed treason.
All of the criminal elements of a seditious conspiracy against the United States. It meets the criminal elements of an insurrection. It meets the criminal elements of a conspiracy against the government.
Any of you
and the
motherfuckers
criminal
saying
elements
insurrection.
of a conspiracy to deprive citizens of their civil rights under color of law.
You fucking are trying to get rid of due process, you bald Nazi fuck!
Egregious felony after another. And because it is a conspiracy, as demonstrated by the forethought of realizing and documenting that they understood that this was fake from the beginning, meeting the mens rea standard in law. Because of that, because it is a conspiracy, every single individual actor is now part of that conspiracy. So that includes Brennan and Clapper and Comey and Hillary and Schiff and everybody else who knowingly and willfully perpetrated this plot, this coup, this conspiracy, this scheme against President Trump and the government of the United States. And now is the time and the hour and the moment for accountability so that we can reclaim this democracy, Maria.
You're right. This is the hour for accountability, which is why I believe you, Stephen Miller, should be thrown into Donald's Dachau in the Florida Everglades with no due process. Fuck you. Why don't you eat with roaches in your food, you fucking Nazi groiper piece of shit, bald fucking incel, wife stolen by Elon Musk, fucking shrimp dick, micro penis, fucking aggression filled with hate piece of shit.
I believe we will actually get accountability. We've been demanding accountability now for a decade. Our audience is well aware that this is the biggest political scandal we have ever seen, and an effort to undermine and take down a duly elected president. But now we want to see the tricksters face the consequences. Will they?
I have complete confidence in the Department of Justice to follow these facts, to follow this new, further avalanche of evidence, and to take all the necessary legal steps to ensure that the wrongdoers, the coup plotters, the schemers, and the insurrectionists are held fully accountable under the laws and Constitution of these United States.
You mean like the way that your perfect and humble Führer pardoned every single January 6th insurrectionists, including the violent ones, including the man who drove a stun gun into the neck of a Capitol police officer, thus leading him to die of a heart attack? Yeah, no, that guy was pardoned.
Yes, Maria, I believe that.
Now, last weekend, John Ratcliffe, CIA director who is a former prosecutor, former DNI, told us that the statute of limitations, the 5-year statute, does not apply when it comes to conspiracy. And he says the conspiracy is ongoing because they still won't admit it. The conspiracy is still happening. So what is your take on what Ratcliffe told us last week?
Oh, he's completely right. So several of the statutes I mentioned, we have not even come close to eclipsing the statute of limitations. But more than that, it is an ongoing and continuing conspiracy. It continued through the entirety of President Trump's first term. It continued through the entirety of President Biden's term in office, and it continues to this day. There are still deep state coup plotters who are trying to conceal and hide this information.
Highlight this one chatter. Says, don't buy into the false dichotomy. They are both horrible left and right. It's the ultra wealthy we need to expose and usurp. Here is your problem. I have a problem with that take. People are saying, oh, the left and the right are the same. No, the right wants you dead. The right built concentration camps. The right deployed ICE. The right is black bagging brown people with no due process and sending them to a fucking death camp in El Salvador. The right wants to get rid of gay marriage. The right got rid of abortion rights. The right wants to create a Christian theocratic fascist regime. The left doesn't want anything to change because they pad their pockets. They just benefit off the status quo and they don't want anything to change. There is a stark difference between the right being actually, literally evil and the left being complacent in that evil. Stark fucking difference. Not only that, if your problem is with the, it's up versus down, your problem's with the billionaires, okay, the richest people in our nation all support Donald Trump. The most successful corporations in our nation all support Donald Trump. The super wealthy all vote Republican because the Republican Party gives them tax cuts. There is no debating this. If you don't like the rich, you can't vote right wing.
On behalf of the people they are protecting. There are still staffers in Democrat offices who know the full truth, who are concealing that truth. So all of this behavior, all of this conduct collectively means the conspiracy hasn't ended, is ongoing. Comey in particular has throughout the years.
But the left isn't the answer. The left is the answer. You've never had the left in power. The United States has never had a leftist as the president. You think JFK was a leftist? He wasn't. I'm talking about socialism. We're talking about full-fledged socialism.
Engage in conduct and lies, public statements, and testimony in front of Congress. False testimony, whose sole purpose was to perpetuate and continue the conspiracy. So I have every hope and expectation that the Department of Justice, under the leadership of our courageous Attorney General, will follow these facts and follow the evidence and deliver justice. Because if we have a country where we can continue to have FBI careerists and CIA careerists, deep staters, who will fabricate and doctor evidence.
Bro, you just had 1,000 FBI agents comb through 100,000 pages of the Epstein files and redact Trump's name because he's on every single page. It's not even the Epstein files anymore. It's the Trumpstein files. You don't get to talk about deploying the fucking Fed for political reasons when you, Herr Goebbels, have quite literally created a private Gestapo designed to black bag brown people and send them to death camps.
Will create and produce fake material, fabricated material, phony information to try to go after their political enemies up to and including the president. If we continue to create the impression and the reality that there is not a criminal, a severe criminal penalty for such conduct, it will never stop, it will never desist, it will keep on going forever. And we will continue to have a country that is sabotaged endlessly by the production of fake documents, fake material, fake plots against democratically elected officials. We can't have that. There must be consequences.
Well, I mean, it's just extraordinary to me that the mainstream media has completely ignored this story. And they obviously were complicit from day one, being the quote-unquote useful idiots of the cabal to spread this nonsense across the world. But the Russia collusion lie had such an incredible impact. People went to jail. They should...
Who the fuck even talks about this, bro? Who the fuck is talking about Russian collusion anymore? This is a decade-old story, bro. This is what I mean about they're pulling out all the stops. Remember when Trump tweeted about, what the fuck is her name? Rosie O'Donnell? That's how desperate Trump is to get rid of this whole Epstein story, is he's pulling out the old hits. You know, it's like a failed musician that had good hits a decade ago, and he's pulling out the old hits. He's like, hey, guys, remember? We don't like Rosie O'Donnell. Hey, guys, remember? Russiagate. Hey! Like, it's not going to fucking work, you fat fuck.
Not have... people were raided. They raided Mar-a-Lago, President Trump's home, looking for these documents, according to Devin Nunes, who told us
By the way, that's a great
week.
point. The Mar-a-Lago raid was a perpetuation and continuation of this same conspiracy. They went in search and in hopes of trying to recover the documents.
And they found them next to the toilet. We all saw the pictures, bro. We're talking about documents piled like fucking 4 feet high in the goddamn bathroom.
That would implicate their own criminal conduct.
That's right.
The entire raid was a perpetuation of this same criminal scheme, as you mentioned. And so many innocent people suffered irreparable harm. Paul Manafort was left to rot in a prison cell because of this ridiculous investigation, this witch hunt that is carried out. How many homes were raided?
I can guarantee you this mouth has sucked a dick.
How many documents were taken, emails were taken against the innocent, against people whose only crime was working for President Trump. Right. And everything that has happened, including, I would argue, all of the interference in 2024 that took place and in 2020 that took place, all the dirty tricks that kept taking place against President Trump were all part of a desire to keep him from getting back into the Oval Office to uncover and expose and share with the world the full truth of what happened, as we are seeing now, Maria.
They also set up General Mike Flynn. Let's not forget about that. There were so many implications of this lie, but even more so, let's talk about the impact to the American people. Because while...
The impact to the American people? Who the fuck was impacted by this? Oh, dude, my life went so downhill once the Democrats accused Trump of colluding with the Russians. My fucking mom cheated on my dad immediately.
Schiff was going on the Sunday political shows, and he was the chairman of the Intelligence Committee for a time, saying there's collusion in plain sight. When you have that kind of a title, you're the chairman of the Intelligence Committee, and you say there's collusion in plain sight, we believe you. You've got the job. You must have seen more than we've seen. So to outwardly lie like that because you have that title. Same thing with former director of CIA, John Brennan. He's got that title. We believe him because he says it. So all of this, when they were running around, Russia, 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 how much did they miss? How much did they leave on the cutting room floor? For example, right now, we are dependent on China for 90% of the underlying components for our prescription drugs. We saw Russia invade Ukraine, more territory. We saw Iran continue to build up nuclear weapons.
Why is she yelling nonstop? It's like a fucking nail in my ear. Stop yelling. And I know that's coming from me. But like, there's gotta be, if you're yelling the whole time, then your yelling means nothing. You have to preserve it.
Right. All of the things that actually matter to the American people were not the focus
the cost,
for 10 years.
Is incalculable. The cost is incalculable of having the entire security apparatus of this country.
Oh my God, this fucking Valley girl.
Security apparatus of this country.
Yo, MAGA, is this your bastion of masculinity? This bald Valley girl ass bitch who probably never felt the warmth of a woman until he paid for one?
Of having the entire security apparatus of this country.
Of this country? Of this country?
focusing on the hoax instead of the real national security threats facing America.
Oh my God, he's such a valley girl. Once you hear it, you'll never unhear it. Every sentence goes up like this. We're talking about the president of the United States trying to pass a law in this country, and there are people who don't want him to. I mean, that must be a violation of this country. Oh.
Lie after lie after lie that was told to the American people, preventing us from actually solving our relationship with Russia, preventing us from actually developing security and independence from all of our adversaries around the world, dealing with these big geopolitical questions. Instead, we were consumed endlessly by the same hoax, the same lie. And the charlatans that engage in this conduct are beneath contempt, they are without dignity, and they are beyond redemption.
I'll take it a bit further. I don't think you're beneath contempt or whatnot. I think you're a subhuman vermin. That's what I fucking think about you. I think you are a fascist, servile dog man. I think you're an oxygen thief. I think you're the husk of a human.
What they have done, you can't even measure the harm that it inflicted.
Stephen, real quick before you go, take us to today, because President Trump has these deadlines underway. He is telling Russia, you've got days that are numbered. August 8th is the deadline to stop this war in Ukraine. What is he going to do in terms of sanctions? Can he actually stop this war? And what about China and a trade deal?
All right. No, he cannot stop this war. Yes, he will put sanctions on them. No, the sanctions will do nothing. And then what was the last question about China? Thank you for the $4.
Can he actually stop this war? And what about China and a trade deal?
China and a trade deal, there's not going to be a good trade deal with China. We will always be reliant on cheap Chinese goods.
So first of all, we've never been in a stronger place economically than we are right now.
That's a complete and total fucking lie.
Passed the largest ever tax cut and relief in American history.
For the top 1%, the tax cut and relief is for the wealthiest people in our nation.
Not only because he's opened up American energy to a degree never seen before, eliminated all of the wasteful regulations, streamlining our economy, but because he has used trade to strengthen instead of weaken America. The trade deal with the EU, the trade deal with Japan, the trade deal with Korea, the tariff revenue that is reducing our deficit. So now we're in a position of economic strength to deal with Russia and to deal with this war that he inherited from Joe Biden, who is responsible for this travesty. The whole Democrat Party is responsible for this travesty in Europe. So what he said very clearly is that it is not acceptable for India to continue financing this war by purchasing the oil from Russia. People will be shocked to learn that India is basically tied with China in purchasing Russian oil. That's
Dude, Germany purchases Russian oil. Germany's one of our allies. Like, oh my God. Russia's #1 export is fucking natural gas, dog. Do you expect European countries to not take oil from the one place in Europe that has the fucking most of it?
Astonishing fact. India portrays itself as being one of our closest friends in the world, but they don't accept our products. They impose massive tariffs on us. We also know they engage in a lot of cheating on immigration policies that is very harmful to American workers. And of course, we see again the purchasing of oil. So President Trump, he wants a tremendous relationship and has had always a tremendous relationship with India and the Prime Minister. But we need to get real about dealing with the financing of this war. So President Trump, all options are on the table to deal diplomatically, financially, and otherwise.
And otherwise means militarily. He will that's the thing about Trump. Otherwise, literally, if Trump doesn't get what he wants, he just threatens to invade your nation or bomb you.
Ongoing war in Ukraine, so we can achieve peace and end the war that the Democrat Party and Joe Biden are responsible for.
Oh, yeah, the Democrat Party and Joe Biden are responsible for the war. Not Vladimir Putin. Not the Russian invaders. No, it's the Democrat Party and Joe Biden.
Very good. Stephen Miller, great to talk with you. Thanks so much. We'll be watching your work, obviously.
Thank you.
I'm Steve. Surprised that motherfucker doesn't slap out a Sig Heil every time he's done with his fucking interviews. Anyway, one last thing I want to show you, just so we can end it on a kind of funny note. A chatter pointed this out to me. Thank you for the money. I believe that Trump, his whole... Just watch this. We're going to walk through Trump's... mind real quick. So it starts off with this. In just 6 months, I cut costs, especially energy and taxes, tremendously. Elizabeth Pocahontas Warren on CNBC said costs have gone up. She's just angry that I blew up her terrible presidential campaign. Call her out. And then he goes again, and he goes, Elizabeth Warren is a loser. She lies about everything, including the fact that she is an Indian. She's not. She's no Pocahontas. Now, Trump is blatantly being racist right now. They are called Native Americans, not Indians. We call them Indians because Christopher Columbus thought he was in fucking India. We haven't used that goddamn term in decades. But this motherfucker doesn't give a shit. But watch this. He says Indian, even though they're not even referring to India. And that starts his, he goes, ask Pocahontas the real question, CNBC. And this stupid fuck talking about Pocahontas, Indian, he keeps, and then suddenly he goes, wow, speaking of India, and now he's talking about the real India. India is not only buying massive amounts of Russian oil, they are then, for much of the oil purchased, selling it on the open market for big profits. They don't care how many people in Ukraine are being killed by the Russian war machine. Because of this, I will be substantially raising the tariff paid by India to the United States of America. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Bro, he was shit-talking Elizabeth Warren, who he nicknamed Pocahontas, as in Native American. He calls Native Americans Indian as... Oh, my God. Oh my God, I forgot about this fucking clip. This is going to blow you. Thank you for the $8. Aussie here. So sorry for what you Yanks are going through with the orange fascist. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Trump, you're never going to believe this. This will be the last thing I show you. This is from like the 80s.
Is this you discussing Indian blood? We're going to judge people by whether they have Indian blood, whether they're qualified to run a gaming casino or not?
That probably is me, absolutely. Because I'll tell you what, if you look at some of the reservations that you've approved, you, sir, in your great wisdom have approved, I will tell you right now, they don't look like Indians to me, and they don't look like the Indians. Now, maybe we say politically correct or not politically correct. They don't look like Indians to me, and they don't look like Indians to Indians, and a lot of people are laughing at it, and you're telling how tough it is, how rough it is to get approved. Well, you go up to Connecticut, and you look. Now, they don't look like Indians to me, sir.
Thank God that's not the test of whether or not people have rights in this country or not, whether or not they pass your look test.
Depends whether...
It is now. It is now.
Yeah, depends whether or not you're approving it, sir.
No, it's not a question whether I'm approving it. It's not a question whether I'm approving it. Mr. Trump, you know in the history of this country where we've heard this discussion before, they don't look Jewish to me.
Oh, really?
They don't look Indian to me. They don't look Italian to me.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain the context here? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Trump was trying to build casinos on on Native American reservations, but you can't do that. And his whole defense to be allowed to put up the casinos was saying that he went to these reservations and they don't look Indian to me. They don't look Indian to me. So let me build my casino. This is the president of the fucking United States of America, dogs. Doggies, we're cooked. Speaking of doggies. Luigi, do hai ras, likiri. Kommer till hilfe. Laos, Saturn! Max det! Anyway, nein! Böser Hund! Anyway, nein! Anyway, nein! Anyway, thank you for tuning into the Valenti VOD. I'm going to cut the video here. If you're here live, you stay. We're going to keep on going. If you're watching it, nine! If you're watching this pre-recorded on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Nine! Don't forget to like, comment, nine! Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. It costs you nothing, and it helps me immensely. If you do want to help support this channel financially, there's a couple of ways you could do it. You could become a member here on YouTube for $5. Massive shout out to the members. You could become a patron on Patreon for $5. Massive shout out to the patrons. You can click that thanks button to donate to the channel. You can buy merch, and you can use that 40% off discount code in the description below. One other thing is we have new merch coming out soon. There's only like 4 days left to get any of the merch that is available currently, and then we're going to have a swap out. So if you want to get that stuff now, get it before you can't. And do me one last favor. Click that video over there. It's a banger. And I know bangers. Beautiful. Beautiful. Stephen Miller. Let's get a thumbie. Did you get the new PC yet? No, bro, no. I had a fat fucking no health insurance bill to pay. Fucked me over, dude. Episode 196. Once we hit episode 200, the old merch is gone. Thummy time. It's time to make a thumbnail. It's time to make a thumbnail. 我们起进组里去上床，顾着来要吵个老就有，让我们进组里去夕阳阳去信仰，我们起。进组里去上场。Look at this fucking Nazi. Look at this Nazi. What a hideous man. What an absolutely hideous individual. Dude, his head is so big, I can't even fit it in fucking frame, dudes. His head is so big, I can't fit the whole thing in frame. Holy fuck. What am I even supposed to do? Let's try this. Nah, that's kind of dog shit, ain't it? It's kind of dog shit. What am I even supposed to do about that? Get a wider angle? Yeah, we're gonna have to get a different picture. This is better. Yep, you're here just in time for the thummy. He's a Nazi doesn't go as hard as I thought it would. What'd you just send me, Nelson? Let me see. No, I'm gonna stick with this one for now. Luigi, don't even fucking do it. I know you're about to do it. Don't fucking do it. Here she goes. All right, what should I make this say? No, you can't put a swastika on the thumbnail. Luigi! What should we make this say? Luigi! How's that? Y'all dig that? Nazi Valley Girl. I think that's the gas. I think that's the gas. That's the gas. All right, let's get this fucker uploaded. Little stash? Nah. Keep him as he is. Keep him as he is. Excuse me. Little BB? Nah. Israel's got nothing to do with this one. Give me back my frames real quick. What's your Jersey Mike's order? Turkey and bacon on a, what is it, the rosemary bread with all the fixins. And I usually let Mike brutally ass fuck my sub. All right. Trump's propaganda minister, Stephen Miller, is desperate to distract from the Epstein list. Trump's propaganda minister is desperate to distract from the Epstein list. So let's just get rid of his name. Trump's propaganda minister is desperate to distract from the Epstein list. Stephen Miller equals... How do you spell Joseph Goebbels? Josephgoebbels. How do you spell Joseph Goebbels? Let me just double check. Josephgoebbels. Goebbels. Yeah, no, I got it. I got it right. Okay, let's make sure the video started properly. So, as we all know, started fucking perfectly. It started perfectly. The Valenti VOD. Nope, there is no AI in this video. Yes, I want it monetized. Trump's propaganda minister is desperate to distract from the Epstein list. There we go. Publish. I saw Fox News coverage saying Ghislaine Maxwell is a victim. She hasn't done anything wrong, and we should be pitying her. I saw that on Fox News. So prepare for the MAGA Republicans to defend her as hard as they have defended Trump. It's insane. It's insane. It's actually fucking delusional. Excuse me? Yeah, let me see if I can find it. Trump is such an overgrown baby threatening nukes over a tweet that hurts his feelings. He's supposed to be the president. He's acting like this pathetic. Yeah, I mean, yeah, fork found in kitchen. You know what I mean? Fox News. Ghislaine Maxwell is a victim. Who said it? Who was covering it? What's his fuck? Adam Mockler covered this perfectly, I think. Adam Mockler. I don't know how the fuck Adam Mockler gets on these goddamn stages, bro. I love Adam Mockler, but like, no offense, Adam. You know, like, I got the riz. I got the riz, bro. I'm a trained actor, bro. I know you got the brain. You got the smarts. Give me the script. Put me on there. Put me on the fucking stage, bro. Verbatim, dead ass. It'd go mega viral. I'm not even fucking kidding. Is this blowing smoke up my own ass? Yes. Do I deserve it? Also fucking yes. I'm the king. Give me your script. Put me on stage. You want fucking national coverage? Give it to fucking me, dog. Is this the video? This might have been it.
Jeffrey Epstein pleaded guilty to the sex stuff in 2008, all right? He's a dirtbag monster. Does that mean Ghislaine Maxwell is? I don't think so, folks.
What? All right, I've been slowly piecing something together over the past 24 hours, and maybe I'm late, but I think the government does not want you to ask questions about their current Ghislaine Maxwell plot. AM. The link will be right below the video. Just go click it.
You should reach out. He's trying to platform and create a new media network. I don't know where to reach out to him, but I will. If any of you guys have any sort of connections, fucking spam his comments. Be like, collaborate with Valenti Videos, collaborate with Valenti Videos, collaborate with Valenti Videos.
Right below, or click the QR code on screen. I want to say thank you to Ground News and thank you to you all. All right, either way, let's move on to this video of Newsmax host Greg Kelly.
Greg Kelly, that's it. Okay.
So, remember this?
What is this? Oh, I meant to do that.
Year, President Trump last year in a courtroom, flanked by two great attorneys, Emil Bove on the left and on the right is Todd Blanche. Today, where are these guys? Well, President Trump is in the White House. That's pretty awesome. Emil Bove has just been nominated for a judgeship, federal judgeship. And Todd Blanche is the Deputy Attorney General, the #2 ranking official in the Justice Department. And he's about to meet, this might be the victim. She knows prison, Ghislaine Maxwell, to find out what she knows.
That's not Ghislaine Maxwell. That's not Ghislaine Maxwell. Am I fucking crazy? That's not Ghislaine Maxwell. Bro, that is not the same fucking person. Maybe I'm fucking nuts.
Let's find out. What is this all about? And she's also been subpoenaed by the Oversight Committee. I think this is great. I do have a feeling that she just might be a victim.
Dude, he just read that line and went, oh my God, I have to say this? You just watched that with your own eyes. Watch this again. Watch his fucking face.
Feeling that she just might be a victim.
He can't believe he just said, you got to remember, the people on Newsmax and the people on Fox, they're not journalists. They don't actually say their opinion. They are actors, failed actors, and they're reading scripts. He can't believe what that script says.
She just might be. There was a rush to judgment. There was a lot of chaos there for a while. All right, granted, she hung out with Jeffrey Epstein, and I know that's apparently not good, but she's...
Apparently? Brother, were you on the list?
In jail for how long now? 20 years. A 20-year sentence. Well, Alan Dershowitz is one of the greatest attorneys who ever lived, and he has this to say about the Ghislaine Maxwell situation, speaking with Newsmax veteran Eric Bolling.
Should Ghislaine Maxwell be behind bars?
She shouldn't be, but she is. She is really serving Jeffrey Epstein's sentence after he...
She shouldn't be? Yo, just so you guys know, this isn't even conspiracy. Alan Dershowitz is also on the Epstein list. This fucking piece of shit is on the Epstein list. He was his financier. He was his lawyer. This guy also volunteered to be Benjamin Netanyahu's lawyer when he was charged with the crime of genocide. You understand that? You understand what sort of man this is?
He committed suicide. There was no one else to prosecute because there was no real information against anybody else. And so they went after her and they sentenced her to a sentence that would have been appropriate for Epstein. But
would have been no, bro. Epstein's sentence would have been life. That would have been fucking appropriate.
Not at all appropriate for her. And so she's appealing now, and I hope the appeal will be granted. She deserves to be out.
She deserves to be out. And maybe she never deserved to be in there in the first place. Now, how could you say such a thing? I mean, these are perverts. These are child molesters. We've heard that from whom? From the media?
From the courts. From the judge. From the jury. From the testimony of the women abused. Yo, the Republican Party is actually a group of fucking pedophiles. I don't think I can respect any Republicans anymore. Any of them. It's just a group of pedophiles. Just a group of fucking pedophiles.
From prosecutors. Prosecutors prosecuted President Trump over nothing. I don't know, but I'm skeptical of everything and everybody these days, and you should be too.
Oh my God. Yo, get ready for the Ghislaine Maxwell podcast, which is going to be fucking everyone on the right is going to watch it. They're going to praise her as their new fucking queen. Holy shit. Holy shit. Ghislaine podcast is going to go hard. I think I have to make a second video. I think I actually, unironically, have to make a second video right now. Even if it's under 8 minutes, I don't care. I wasn't going to make another video until I saw this segment from Newsmax, but I have to. Ghislaine Maxwell, the most notorious sex trafficker alive right now that we know of. The co-conspirator with Jeffrey Epstein, she was going around hand-picking schoolgirls in fucking Florida, still in their uniforms at 2:30, waiting for the goddamn bell. She was training the young girls at Mar-a-Lago Spa on how to take care of Jeffrey Epstein. She was his pimp, essentially. 20 years in prison. She's been charged. We already know Trump is going to pardon her. But I've been saying, and I said it on TikTok earlier, I've been saying for a while that the MAGA base is going to prepare to defend this woman tooth and nail. And they're going to call her a victim. And they're going to say that she shouldn't have never been in prison. And it's all because the Republican Party fully supports pedophilia. But I promise you, you're not ready for what you're about to witness on Newsmax. They're using Newsmax as like a way to gauge their audience. Like, they're trying to gauge the Republican reaction to when Ghislaine gets her pardon. And ultimately her fucking podcast, which is going to be, the fucking Nelk boys are probably going to have Ghislaine on there. It's going to be insane. Oh my God, the GOP is a group of pedophiles. Oh my God. You got to watch this. I can't even do it justice. This may not be a long video because it's not a long segment, but I don't really care. This one I'm not even doing for the fucking money. This one, you got to see this shit. You got to see this shit.
So, remember this? Last year, President Trump, last year in a courtroom, flanked by two great attorneys, Emil Bove on the left and on the right is Todd Blanche. Today, where are these guys? Well,
this guy's fucking meeting with Ghislaine Maxwell doing a quid pro quo so that she can get her pardon by saying Trump has never, ever, ever met Jeffrey Epstein.
President Trump is in the White House. That's pretty awesome. Emil Bove has just been nominated for a judgeship, federal judgeship. And Todd Blanche is the Deputy Attorney General, the #2 ranking official in the Justice Department. And he's about to meet with Jeffrey Epstein's ex-girlfriend in prison.
She's not his ex-girlfriend. She is his conspirator. They did this all together. She fucking raped kids too. Women can do that.
Ghislaine Maxwell to find out what she knows. Let's find out, what is this all about? And she's also been subpoenaed by the Oversight Committee. I think this is great. I do have a feeling that she just might be a victim.
Two things. One, two, look at the way he's reading his script. You got to remember, people like this fat orange failure, he's most likely a failed actor, okay? He's not a journalist. He's not a news reporter. He's not telling you his opinion. He is reading his script. And his script was written by the propaganda minister, Stephen Miller, also known as modern Joseph Goebbels. If you watch my last fucking video, you know we're talking about the bald Valley Girl Nazi. That's the one who writes his script. But watch his face as he looks at the line he's about to have to say. Watch him digest what this fucker has to read.
Let's find out, what is this all about? And she's also been subpoenaed by the...
This is the former NYPD commissioner? I live in Gotham.
The Oversight Committee, I think this is great. I do have a feeling that she just might be a victim. She just might be. There was a rush to judgment. There was a lot of chaos there for a while. All right, granted, she hung out with Jeffrey Epstein. And I know that's apparently not good.
Apparently? Were you there?
But she's in jail for how long now? 20 years. A 20-year sentence.
Yeah, it should be more.
Well, Alan Dershowitz is one of the greatest attorneys who ever lived. And he has this to say about the Ghislaine Maxwell situation, speaking with Newsmax veteran Eric Bolling.
Newsmax veteran is something that you should never admit. Second of all, calling him the greatest lawyer who's ever lived is insane. Why are you not mentioning that he was Jeffrey Epstein's lawyer? Why are you not mentioning that he volunteered to be Benjamin Netanyahu's lawyer when he was charged with war crimes? Why are you neglecting to mention that Alan Dershowitz, this fucking foreskin of a man, was on the Epstein list and has been friends with Jeffrey Epstein for longer than Trump fucking has? Jesus Christ.
Should Ghislaine Maxwell be behind bars?
She shouldn't be, but she is.
Bro, you should be behind bars.
She is really serving Jeffrey Epstein's sentence after he committed suicide. There was no
Yeah, after he committed suicide. Yeah.
one else to prosecute because there was no real information against anybody else. And so they went after her and they sentenced her to a sentence that would have been appropriate for Epstein.
No, 20 years would not have been appropriate for Epstein. Life without parole would have been appropriate for Epstein. Fucking execution would have been appropriate for Epstein.
But not at all appropriate for her. And so she's appealing now, and I hope the appeal will be granted. She deserves to be out.
She deserves to be out. Oh my God, of course you're gonna fucking say this, Alan Dershowitz. Weren't you the one who wrote a birthday letter to Jeffrey Epstein and said that like he's the modern equivalent of like Jeffrey Dahmer? Isn't that you? You compared him to Jeffrey Dahmer. Is that not you, Alan Dershowitz?
She deserves to be out. And maybe she never deserved to be in there in the first place. Now, how could you say such a thing? I mean, these are perverts. These are child molesters. We've heard that from whom?
From the courts, from the victims, from the testimonies, from the judge, from the jury, from the depositions, from Ghislaine herself. I'm gonna fucking lose my mind, bro. We're talking about child rape. Child rape!
From the media, from prosecutors. Prosecutors prosecuted President Trump.
And President Trump cannot do any wrong.
Over nothing.
Yeah, over nothing. Yeah, no, President Trump, he didn't do anything wrong. He didn't organize a fucking attempted military coup d'etat. He didn't try to push forward a fraudulent electorate scheme. He doesn't still claim that he won the 2020 election. He's not trying to run for a third term. He's not trying to get rid of due process. He's not using a fucking private Gestapo military force to black bag Latinos and throw them into fucking death camps in El Salvador. No! Or perfect and humble leaguer. He's never done anything.
I don't know, but I'm skeptical of everything and everybody these days, and you should be too.
Yo, the GOP is the group of pedophiles just so willing to run defense for actual, literal fucking pedophiles that you can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up. If you wrote this, I wouldn't believe it. If I saw a show about this, I wouldn't believe it. I'd say it's cheesy. It's cheesy. Holy shit. All right, listen, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. It costs you nothing and it helps me immensely. If you are watching this live, you stay. If you're watching this pre-recorded, hit that video right over there. It's a banger. And I know bangers. Oh, dear God. Oh, dear God. Quick thummy. Quick thummy. Ghislaine Maxwell. This is a good one because she looks like dog shit. Oh, God damn it. It's copyrighted. Oh, wait. No, I gotta make a new episode. Episode 197. I gotta go after I post this, guys. As soon as I get this video up, I gotta go. What the fuck is this? All right, let's get that white, outline, black. Why is it? Wait. Maybe I should make it red. Sticks out more. Yeah, there we go. All right, let's get this fucker uploaded. Woman-chi. Scream face or I told you so face. It's one of those faces. It's one of those faces. Hello, Malenti. How are you? You're pooping. Nice, bro. Push it. Push it out real good. Pinch that loaf. Proud of you. All right, we need a title for this. Hey, Jack, could you ban Jack Wolf for being a freak? Thank you. Okay. MAGA is defending pedophilia or pedophiles on live TV, and they want your support. Maybe I should spell pedophiles different. P3 D0 PH1 LES on live TV. Okay. Let's make sure it starts properly. Give me back my frames! I wasn't going to make another... yeah, it starts perfectly. That's going into the Valenti VOD. It is definitely not made for children. There is no AI-generated stuff. Yes, I want ads. This deals with sensitive issues. Publish. Excuse me. All right. That's up. I gotta go, gang. I gotta go. Thank you very much for tuning into the Valenti VOD, or the Valenti broadcast. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Costs you nothing. It helps me immensely. Donate to the channel. Do everything you got to do. I love you very much. Thank you very much. Have a good one. Have a good one. Have a good one. And bye-bye. And bye-bye. And bye-bye. Bye, everybody.